What's up everybody, Silvio 3D right here. My name is Silvio, I am a 3D artist and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to talk about what is the best 3D softwares out there for you. Because the reason is that there is not the best one, it only depends of what part from this industry you want to learn. Stay with me to find out more, but before that don't forget to subscribe, to click the notification button and of course give a like to this video so many people can see it. So, you decided to learn 3D, maybe because you saw that VFX elements from a movie, or you want to make a great render for your architecture project, or you just want to learn it for fun because it's a great skill, right? Whatever is the reason, the primary thing to do is to learn a 3D software. And there are many and they can look pretty scary, and the reason is that they can be hardcore. And of course you want the best one that can do anything. There is not really a best one, and that's why I made a selection of the most used one, the part of the industry they are used, and of course my opinion about them. I will start with Autodesk, and here we have Autodesk 3ds Max and Autodesk Maya. I think these are the most recognized ones, and there are many reasons why. So, Autodesk 3ds Max. It was released in 1996 and I think you can find it in every architecture and gaming studio. It's a great tool if you want to make product design, for example to make products for presentation, architecture visualization, and here we have interior and exterior renders, and of course gaming. It's a great software if you want to make static images and not VFX or motion graphics. I mean, you can do that of course, but there are other softwares designed for that. 3ds Max, it has a lot of plugins, and by that I mean you have plugins for almost anything you want, and you have a pretty good support for them as well. And I have to mention the modifier list. It's a big and complex list of modifiers that can be applied on the object so you can transform it in whatever you want. I mean, you can twist them, you can stretch them, you can apply noise on them, you can basically transform a solid cube into clay. It's so powerful. And it comes with Arnold, which is a render engine and can be found on Maya as well. And is very powerful and can give you pretty nice renders. It's a very good option if you don't want to buy render engines like V-Ray or Corona, which are the most used ones on 3ds Max. And the other monster software in terms of 3D developed as well by Autodesk, it's Maya. Maya, it was released in 1998 from Alia Systems Corporation, but in 2005 was bought by Autodesk, and from the beginning it was created to be an animation program. And this is one of the reasons why Maya remained one of the most used ones in VFX and animation industry, because they wanted to be an animation program and they pushed it in this way. It's very used in filmmaking, animation and VFX, and I think every VFX studio has Maya and uses Maya. I mean, it's so powerful, it's very friendly for animations, it's customizable, you have good viewport performance, and of course it's very good for UV and rigging. Maya and 3ds Max have many similarities in the interface because are developed by the same company, but the workflow is different. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention that another reason these two softwares are the most used ones is that you have a lot of support. I mean, you have support for anything. You can just type on Google your problem and you will find at least 2 or 3 results. In conclusion, I will just say this. If you want to choose animation or VFX, I recommend you to choose Maya. And if you want to make static images like renders or cars or props for the games, I really recommend you 3ds Max. Cinema 4D is developed by the German company Maxon and it was initially released 31 years ago in 1990. Let's say you have a company and you sell a product and you want to make a commercial for that product. So you choose a VFX studio to make that commercial for you. And the chances the animation will be made in Cinema 4D are very big, because it's one of the most used ones in motion graphics. I really like it. It's user friendly. It's one of the easiest, if not the easiest, 3D software to learn it. It has great lighting. You can even make visualizations for architecture. I mean, I saw some renders and I was really impressed. It's on the market for a long time, is recognized as a powerful 3D software, good for motion graphics, good for filmmaking. It's a great program if you want to go in this direction. Houdini. It was released in 1996 and it's a great tool if you want to make special effects. It's used by many VFX and animation companies like Pixar, DreamWorks Animation and Walt Disney. And what's so special about this software is its exclusive attention to procedural generation. If you want to find out more about the concept of procedural generation, you will find the link in the description below. So Houdini is very good for things like explosions, liquid fluid, smoking, and it's node based, and that means that you can just change a node or a value from the node and the whole thing, the whole object will change, and that's amazing. Of course, it's hard to learn it, but once you develop that ease of using it, from that point there are no limitations. I talked a lot about VFX and motion graphics, and I do want you to understand these are the same thing. Motion graphics are animated graphics, for example drawings or 3D objects that are animated, and it's all made in digital. On the other side, visual effects combines existing footage with computer generated imagery to create realistic scenes. For example, to add smoke, to change the sky in a video, to create fire, or the shooting gun effect for a movie. I just told you these things just to understand better the differences between these two. Now let's talk about the next one, Zbrush. Zbrush is developed by Pixologic and it was released in 1999 and is the best sculpting tool. I mean, it's very good if you want to create organic models like people, creatures, animals, nature elements, or just to add some details to a model, and you can make hard surfaces as well. It has a lot of tools that will make your work easier, but it's not the easiest program to learn it. Of course, if you want to make people or creatures or insects, you need to know some artistic anatomy, so some drawing skills will always be a plus. Even though it's the best sculpting tool, indisputable, I would now recommend you to learn only Zbrush, and the reason why is that you will need to UV that model to texture it, and of course to create a retopology for that, and Zbrush doesn't shine at these chapters. I haven't used it so much, just to add some details for my objects. For example, you model something in 3ds Max or Maya and you have to make it more realistic and to add some more value, so you import it in Zbrush, and there you can make some imperfections. And of course, in the end, my recommendation is to use Zbrush always with a graphic tablet, not with a mouse at all. And in the end, Blender is developed by Blender Foundation and was initially released in 1994, and it's free. What a better chance to learn 3D if you don't want to spend any money. Of course, if it's free, the budgets are smaller, you don't have a lot of support, but you will find a lot of tutorials on the internet. Maybe some of you would think, wait a second, but it's free. I don't think this can compete with other softwares that are thousands of dollars. I will just say this: you can 3D model, you can sculpt, very good UV unwrapping, and you even have video editing integrating, and I think it's more than enough to start. Of course, the chances to find a job only if you know Blender are not the best ones, because it's not used commercially a lot. But there are new studios that started to use Blender, and you can consider it to add it on your list only for you, because it's a very fun 3D software. So, until now I talked a lot about 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, Houdini, Zbrush and Blender, from 3D modeling and lighting to VFX and motion graphics. But what if you want to become a texture artist? Of course you can add textures in the softwares I talked about, but this is not enough if you want to become a completely texture artist. And for the final part, I want to talk about the best texture softwares, Substance Painter and Substance Designer. The difference between these two is that in Substance Designer you can create complex textures from the scratch, like this one, and Painter is more about painting and applying the textures made in Designer. Another difference between them is the level of complexity. I mean, Designer is very hard to learn it because it's all node-based. And for example, for this texture, you will need a node like this one, which is pretty hardcore. Of course, everything is logic and all these nodes can be organized, but overall it's a hardcore software. Painter, on the other side, is not so hard, but you still have plenty of tools. You can apply smart materials, smart masks, and it's not easy to learn how to blend all the materials to make the objects look realistic. Another great feature is that on both Painter and Designer you can see the results live, and you can rotate and move the objects in any direction you want to check at every second the progress. So I definitely recommend you to choose Substance Designer or Substance Painter, or why not both, if you want to become a texture artist. So in the end, I just want to say that it doesn't really matter what is going to be your first 3D software, because once you learned one, the others will be more easier. The only thing that is different is the mindset. You need a different mindset for every 3D software. So with perseverance and ambition, I'm sure that everything can be learned. Until the next video, leave a comment down below with the 3D software you want to learn and why, and with the subjects you want me to approach in the future. Bye!